I want to be real with you guys. To be honest with you, how many people in here actually started coming to Hamilton because they wanted to make more money? It's strictly money. Money's the motivation. Money was my motivation, I'm not going to lie, okay? How many people got laid off and needed a career change? And any other reasons why people came at all? All right, so what I want to do is kind of go back to where I was in high school. In high school, I was a nerd. Started dealing with computers, big time. I used to fix everybody's computer in the neighborhood. I was the neighborhood computer guy. If somebody had a problem, I was fixing it for $10. But when you got $10 from 10 different people when you're a sophomore in high school, you sitting pretty. I was raised by my grandparents. Kind of came from a broken home. My mom, drug user, still to this day, drug user. She's been homeless since I lived with her. So that means I was homeless. My father, never been a suitable guy to take care of his kids. He's alcoholic. So my grandparents took me in when I was in second grade. I got a brother, come from the same product with the same people, except we have two different personalities. I like to call him the nice thug. I like to call myself the cool nerd. All right. My brother is complete 180 of me. He's into drugs. He sells. That's kind of what he does. Through high school, I didn't want to be there. I hated it. I just wanted to graduate. I wanted to get out. I hated school. I never wanted to go to college. I didn't want to do any of that. I met him in high school when I was a sophomore, and we were both in show choir together. I know I said I'm a nerd, but there's a method to show choir. The first one being there's 25 guys. If there's 25 guys, you got to have some kind of dance partner. So there's 25 girls. Okay? So people didn't realize that. I played football or not. People call me gay, whatever. I don't really care. But at the end of the day, I was seeing their girls kind of, in the dressing room, probably more than they saw the girl, at home. So I actually learned how to dance through him. He went to North, I went to Central. We started working together on the weekends, and we started dancing, and we got really, really good. And I decided right then that I wanted to do one of two things, either do something with computers or dance. Nobody would hire me out of high school without any kind of degree or anything. They didn't trust that, just with people's knowledge of me being in the neighborhood dealing with computers, that I could actually do that. So I actually got an opportunity with Isaiah. We went out and did the whole BET thing. He sent in a tape and auditioned, and we made 106 in Park. So we danced on that show. When we got back, people start blowing us up beyond belief. And we got a guy named DJ Massive to come in, and he was a Jamaican guy, a real funny guy. He couldn't understand a word that was coming out of his mouth the whole time. But he wanted to manage us. He had this girl named Emily Summerhays, who was an up-and-coming artist from Waterloo, and she was going to be opening up for Chris Brown. So he said, hey, can you audition, can you dance for us? We did it, and then we started to choreograph her. We started doing a lot of shows with her, a lot of local shows, and then we finally flew out to Virginia, and, we performed on stage Chris Brown, so it's pretty cool. When we got back, instant, oh, man, I saw you on BET, I heard you was with Chris Brown, larger than life as far as I'm concerned, because, I was actually fulfilling something that I wanted to do. My grandparents didn't have a problem with it. They couldn't afford to send me to school, and I couldn't afford school myself, and dancing was very lucrative if you're a single guy. We actually ended up going out to California and joining this group called the Young Americans, this performing arts group, and we toured and danced with those guys for a while, and long story short, my girl right at the top of my dance career, Isaiah's dance career, my lady got pregnant. And I cried for 2 days straight. because, you know, reality kind of set in for me that, you know, she's not going to move out to California. You know, she doesn't want to be out there. I don't want to raise kids out in California. It's too busy. I'm a dancer. I have no real skills, you know. And so I started a job at a car wash, and I came into Hamilton. I applied at like Best Buy, any Neo Computers, any computer store that was around here that would maybe hire me part-time or something like that. I even begged them to come in and sweep their floors. You know, anything that I could do to kind of get myself into the computer world, because, you know, I've always wanted to be successful. You know, I look at my parents and I look at my brother. You know, I'm the only one in my family who hadn't gotten involved with drugs, period. Literally, I'm the only one in my family who's actually tried to do something with their life. You know, nobody would hire me. So I came in here, and I saw the Hamilton Tech commercial, and my grandfather said, you know what, Javon, you might as well just go ahead and give it a try. So I came in, and I talked to Connie Uzo, and I said, hey, listen, I'm going to be up front with you. I do fairly well with computers. Nobody hired me. I want some kind of certificate so I can get a job. And she said, you know what? We do so much more here at Hamilton. And I didn't quite follow her. You know, I just wanted that quick degree. I wanted something so I could get a job. And so she gave me a tour around. You know, she was showing me the labs and, you know, showing me voltmeters and oscilloscopes, and, you know, she showed me the robot and stuff. And, you know, those things didn't quite pique my interest, but, you know, I was really only interested in really getting something for computers. So she promised me every day would be fine. My grandparents kind of talked me into coming in. So I came in, and I started my first day. It would have been February of 2008. And it was actually my move-in day, my first apartment, and my pregnant wife now was moving us in. And I come in, and the first thing that John Stockwell, he used to teach second semester, the first thing he started talking about was atoms. And I'm like, okay, we just got to do with computers, man. And he kept going on to ohms and coulombs and all this other stuff. I'm like, okay. I started panicking because I hated school. You know, the only reason why I passed high school, I believe, is because I played football. And, you know, everybody knew my story, you know, and they kind of passed me along. I didn't deserve to graduate high school, to be honest with you. But I squeaked by. And I just immediately shut down and started panicking. And there was a guy named Jeremy Borger, just out of the military, or, you know, he was maybe a year or two, and he couldn't find a job based off of his military skills. He worked on Apache helicopters, but nobody would hire him without a certificate as well. And he went out for that smoke break, and we talked for a minute. He was like, listen, man, just sit next to me, and we'll get through this together. And right then, it was a straight 180 in the mindset. Okay, you know what? I've already had the student loan stuff taken out. I'm going to pay for this no matter what. Let me just go in here and let me just try to do this. And let me see what I can do. You know, all through high school, you know, somebody would write a theory on the board on how to solve this problem. And it was really that simple. That theory on the board is going to solve that problem, but that never really clicked for me. And so I just started paying attention, started writing notes. And by the end of that day, I was like, man, I'm doing something with my life. Like, this is the start. And from that day on, like, I dedicated 110%. And I felt like all the way through that first semester, the only reason why I succeeded was because I studied. But I didn't necessarily feel like I was catching on 100%. But I stuck with it. And eventually, like by time third semester came around, it started to somewhat make some sense to me. And this was the coolest school I ever been to. You know, I tried going to Scott at one time, but I kind of left on that first day, almost like I left here at Hamilton that first day. And I met Larry, and Larry was kind of substituting for John Stockwell. He did the lab, and then he did the theory. And you know, Larry was talking with us, and he was like, "Hey, you know what? We're gonna be doing these labs. Go ahead and put on some music." if you want to, as long as it doesn't get over loud and you don't, stir people. And I felt like going to Hamilton was a second job that I get paid for. At this time, I was working at a car wash, and I was doing okay to support my family, but, it's a car wash, Then I got laid off from the car wash, and I started handicap development. Study habits became really hard with handicap development because I had to get up at 8 in the morning, take care of these people, and then come to work like 20 minutes after I get them on the bus. And then I go to school from like 8:20 to 1. I'd have maybe 3 hours, either go home and kiss my wife, make some food, take a shower, or study. And then I had to get to work by 3. I worked all day, all night. We got paid for sleeping there. And, I woke up, I did the same thing. So the only way I could study was to stay into the lab, like, after school. Like, when I got done with class, I was in that lab every day. I started buying trainers at Radio Shack, and it became really, 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 really fun for me. I started building all kinds of circuits. Everything that I learned that particular day in class, I tried to apply immediately when I was done. I know a lot of people say they don't really have time for it, but literally after I put the guys to sleep, I pull out that trainer, I study, and I take out my notes and I build these things at home to try to get that little bit of extra time, because I know my mind's not capable of following this stuff. I'm a slow learner, but once I get something, I get it. I know I'm rambling, but it's going somewhere, I promise. And so I actually ended up getting like a 3.9, 3.8. I think the lowest grade I had all through my associates was a 3.5, and that's because digital I didn't get it. And so that was my lowest grade. Everything else, I 3.9, 3.98, whatever, all the way through. And it was literally just the mindset. Like, I set my mind to the point where nobody's going to tell me I can't do this stuff. I really have to do this. I have no other choice. I got a family to support. And I finished the associates. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward. I'm not going to bore you guys with this. I finished my associates. And I was such into building the little circuits on the side and all that stuff. I kind of talked to Larry and I talked to Steve. And I said, hey, you guys have any room for a lab assistant? I'd like to come in and maybe help out a little bit. I wasn't expecting, to get paid, but they said, hey, you know what? We know we pay the lab assistants $8 an hour or whatnot, and I had to switch to nights so that I could do the bachelor's course. And so I was going to lose my job in handicap development. And it worked out perfect. They hired me as a lab assistant. I was only making $8 an hour or whatnot, but it was really fun for me to come in. I got a lot of extra learning experience. When I did that, I started that MAP program. Mrs. Hamilton brought me up and said, hey, you have a way of maybe reaching out to the students, try to help them with the mentoring program. So I said, okay, and all of us, the instructors, myself, and Mrs. Hamilton, we kind of came up with that MAP program. I don't know if it's still around. I see the flyer still out there. Does anybody use a mentor at all? Is anybody, like, really, I'm being real. I want you to be real with me. Does anybody in here, like, need a mentor and might need some help, but kind of scared to ask for it? Anybody? Who in here has, like, a 3.0 straight? Over 3.0? That's what's up, man. That's what's up. That's what's up, man. Well, anyways, I did that and got really involved with the school. Started a little lab, and I got my first job outside of the school with Pico. It's a company called Pico Automation Engineering. I was extremely happy. Like, I finished the bachelor's, and I got my first job. It was actually a guest speaker. His name was Sonny Carlisle. He came in, he showed us a couple of things and did a presentation, and I paid attention. Like, from that day, I realized perception is everything. When it comes to this field, everybody knows we have an electronics degree, but it really comes down to perception. And I was a stubborn student. Larry all the time told me, Javon, Stop messing with those op amps and 555 timers and go in there and really like do something with the PLCs, because you're not going to troubleshoot on a little discrete level like that. You know, troubleshooting is troubleshooting. It's good practice. You know, if this isn't working here, then you go back and trace it to the next step before it and see if, you know, that's the problem. Troubleshooting is troubleshooting. But in the field, if with my experience right now is they don't troubleshoot like that. If the part's bad, you pull it, you put a new one. You don't troubleshoot individual resistors, timers, capacitors, or that kind of stuff. But I was stubborn. I didn't listen to him because I had my head up my behind, and I was just doing my own thing. And you know, Gene's class. How many people have taken Gene's class, done bachelor's yet? Are anybody in bachelor's?
Classes here.
Oh, these are all the beginnings class. Okay, I'm sorry. Well, sixth semester, or seventh semester, you'll get a chance to go in. How many people plan on going to bachelor's? What is that? That's what's up. Hey, I'm telling you, it'll pay off in the long run. I'm not a corporate guy at all. I just told you my background pretty much in a nutshell. I'm not a corporate guy. You know, Excel and spreadsheets, emails, that kind of stuff, it meant nothing to me. You know, I just wanted a job. You know, in my current job, and we'll get there, I answer like 100 emails a day. So it's 100% worth it. But where I was getting at is I started this job at Pico, and at Pico, the first thing that they showed me was, listen, we deal with PLCs. And I'm like, shit. I'm sorry for cussing, but that's literally what I said, because I was so into the discrete components, I didn't know anything. I didn't pay much attention to the industrial side in sixth semester. You know, like Larry was trying to tell me, you know, go in there full with the PLCs. I did the labs, and I was good at the labs because I studied and I got past it. But I didn't quite understand it 100%. So the first 3 months there, I learned more about electronics than I ever would have thought. I actually learned how to program PLCs. Became a really good PLC programmer, and I got lucky. I got an opportunity. He saw me taking notes when he was talking up here, and he came up to me after and was like, "Hey, we're hiring. If you would like to, you know, I saw you were taking notes. You're the only one really paying attention. You know, perception is everything. We want you to come and work for us." And that was literally my interview. It was just sitting there in this room, paying attention to the owner of a company give a presentation, and I was taking notes. And so I started there. He showed me how to program PLCs, and unfortunately, the company closed. They went under, and so. My wife was pregnant with our second child, and I felt like hell. You know, worked hard, finally got a job. We finally started a budget. I finally, you know, I started to pay my student loans off, and you know, 6 months down the road, it shut down, and I had nothing to turn to really. So I went back to dancing. I went back to dancing for a while, and when I came back into town after I got through with dancing, Laura Kilmer sent me an email and said that this company, Bandag, was hiring. Is anybody familiar with Bandag? Bandag is based out of Muscatine. They are the leading experts in retreading in semi tires. It's a lot cheaper to retread a semi tire than it is to buy a whole new case and a new tire for a semi. Most of the money that fleets spend on is pretty much tires. And so they kind of developed their own process on how to buff the old tread off and apply new tread and start independent franchises. And so I didn't know anything about this company whatsoever. I just knew that they were hiring. I saw the dollar amount on it straight up said it was I think it was a flyer out in the hallway here. Pico starts out $52,000 a year. I said, you know what? That's love. I'm there. I'm gonna do this. And I went into the interview. Now, I had some failures. I was really cocky. I'm not gonna lie. I did really well in school. I got really cocky, and I thought that little 3 months of experience in and PLC programming was going to get me in the door absolutely everywhere. It wasn't the case. I went into every interview thinking that my skills was going to get me that job, and I never really opened up myself to what was really going on. The employers, they offer a job opening comes open, and they put out specifications. You need to have 2 years in this. You need to have 4 years in this. And that's the means of them eliminating a whole other people who don't have this and don't have to sort through 3,000 paper copies of people applying for the job. And so when I would go into these interviews, you know, I stopped focusing on what I kind of learned here at Hamilton, you know, in Gene's class, in the business aspect of it, and how to interview and do well in interviews. I was so cocky to have my head up my behind. You know, I was doing my own thing, and it hurt that I couldn't get a job. You know, so when I came in for that interview, I went out to my car and I got my 7th semester book and I looked through it. Proper interview etiquette. You know, everything that they teach here, literally everything that they teach here, I have used in some aspect, one way or the other. But it started right here with opening this book and actually going through it before the interview. Scouring through it, what can I do? What is the STAR method? What is all this other stuff that I've been forgetting about? And then I got online and I looked at proper interview etiquette. And I went into the interview, and I must have talked about electronics for 5 minutes. And the other half an hour was presenting myself to this employer. You know, they retread tires. You have to travel a lot. It's a traveling job. So right on the paper that you're going to be traveling 90% of the time. Can you handle it? You know, if you're not willing to relocate, don't apply. And so I went into this job interview, and I shared my life story with them. You know, pretty much in a nutshell. Real simple. You know, I travel with the Young Americans. I dance. I'm good with people, and they saw it in our interview. Like I said, he asked me one question about electronics, and that was it. The rest was just us having a conversation. Well, that same buddy of mine that helped me out through that first semester all the way through, Jeremy, happened to be interviewing at the same time. And we went to Hooters, and we sat down and we ate. And they called me, and they said, "Hey, would you like to go out to lunch?" And I threw up everything. I kind of dropped my menu and everything. I'm like, "Yeah, I'll meet you." And I went and sat down with them. And they kind of explained what it is that they did and that they wanted me. And I work for that company now. That's kind of where this is going. I'm going to tell you about my company and then how this experience has kind of helped me through it. Like I said, Bandag retreads tires. They have 2 aspects of the job. Like McDonald's, they do franchising. Does anybody know what franchising is? Franchising is a corporation that if anybody has enough money, they can open up their own McDonald's, their own Hardee's. They have a building, but they have to follow a franchise agreement saying that, okay, you're going to buy all of your materials from McDonald's. All of your equipment is going to come from McDonald's. Your menu is going to be universal. So your cheeseburger here should taste like the cheeseburger in California, the cheeseburger in Chicago, absolutely everywhere. Well, Bandag does the exact same thing, or Bridgestone does the exact same thing with tire retreads. They open up hundreds and hundreds of shops in the United States of America, and they retread tires, and they have to retread to this exact specification. So it kind of started scaring me because I'm not a mechanic at all. I don't know anything about tires. I didn't know anything. I know my electronic stuff, but I don't know anything about retreading. My job is literally to go into these companies and audit their process. Are you following the Bandag guidelines for retreading tires? Are you following the specifications? And then help them make money if they're not, or help them turn them around if they're not following these things. The second aspect of it is PLCs. Every bit of the equipment is automated by PLCs. So it's also my job to go in and maintain or fix pull out parts, repair parts if needed for these equipments, for these pieces of equipment. And I never thought in a million years with a 2-year degree that I would have a job that would send me to like 24 states in less than like 4 months, just traveling. And I know I'm rambling, and I sometimes do this, but I know we talk, like, being real. I went from $52,000 a year to $72,000 a year in less than 6 months. In less than 6 months. They moved me to Charlotte, North Carolina. That's where I currently live now. I have a corporate credit card. I have a company car. And really, it all stems from Hamilton. I owe these guys absolutely everything. I'm not the best speaker in the world, and I'm not even coming here trying to speak to you guys. I just know how I felt coming through here. I deal with Isaiah a lot. He calls me, he says, hey, man, I had the circuit, can you talk me through this? I mentor him over the phone if he needs it. He's one of my best friends. He's doing really, really well, and he's doing exactly the same thing that I did when I came into this school. And I see him, like, kind of slowly starting to understand this stuff. But the thing of it is Hamilton's not going to teach you what it is that you need to know everything about electronics inside the field, because there's so many different aspects of it. These guys show you how to use a voltmeter, how to measure and do continuity checks, give you basic knowledge on absolutely everything in all aspects of electronics. But your individual job is going to train you on exactly what it is that you're going to be working on. So if you're feeling a little overwhelmed, I'm doing well on these tests, but I still don't understand these concepts, that doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, because when you go in to work at this company, they're going to train you in their speciality, their equipments, their printers, their networks, or whatever it is you're going to be going into. And so don't let anything like that discourage you from doing what you need to do here in this school, because these teachers are giving you 110% opportunity to do great things. I know I'm up here rambling. I know none of this is organized or makes any sense. I didn't have time to do a presentation. Larry just wanted me to come in here and share a little bit with you guys. And I'm telling you, like, I don't have any family here. I don't have any parents to go to besides my grandparents. I have a wife. I have 2 kids. And everything that I do, my motivation for coming here was them. And when I tell you I hated school and I didn't think I could do it here, I'm kind of preaching to the choir, because all of you guys are doing great things. You all have good GPAs. You guys are all still here. You've all made it to this particular point. And, this might not mean anything to you. This might just be a means of you moving up in your life. But when I'm telling you I'm extremely humble and extremely blessed to have come to this school, I never in a million years thought I'd make $17,000 a year off the jump. I've only been working with this company since July. And I know we're not supposed to give dollar amounts, because not everybody here is going to get a job starting out at $72,000 a year. But what I'm telling you is there's opportunities absolutely everywhere out there. And nobody looks at what you guys can do as far as technicians when you come out of here. They look at your personality, what you can bring to them as a person. I started dressing a little bit different when I came here. I was wearing sweatpants and hoodies all the time. Started wearing jeans and button-ups. You never know who you're going to meet in the halls here at Hamilton. They bring in all kinds of people. There's all kinds of alumni that come through here. You might not even see them, but they're here and they're watching, and you never know what position they're in to actually give you guys a job when you finish here. If anything, my class started. I was in a class of 16 when we started. There was 3 of us in my particular class that actually finished. And I wish that these guys and everybody in my class is doing something great. You know, Jeremy is working in Iowa City doing medical equipment, bio equipment. A girl named Christina, she works for the FBI now. But the guys that quit, you know, the guys that just couldn't make it here, you know, they got another job or they just didn't have time to do it. Just take a little bit of time just to finish. I know you guys aren't planning. Nobody starts this thinking that they're not going to finish. But sometimes things happen. I'm telling you, things really, really, really happen to me. I lost multiple jobs. I was broke. I cried. I felt like less of a man, you know, but I stuck through it. And I got an email from a lady I didn't even know, because Laura Kilmer was not our, what do you call that position?
Placement director.
She was not my placement director. She took over for another lady, okay? But she reached out to me. She sent me an email. She said, hey, you know, I'm new. I saw that your name was still in our system. We've got these interviews. And she worked so hard for me. She worked so hard for me without knowing me. You know, I know sometimes we get caught up in, you know, I'm paying this. And, you know, these teachers are here, you know, they don't really give a care. I promise you, they're giving you absolutely every opportunity that they can. But it is not their job to babysit anybody in this school. You gotta want it. You really have to want it. I don't even know what to say at this point. Like, I feel like I'm preaching to the choir, because I know all of you guys did the exact same step I did to walk into this door at a later stage in your life. How many people here have been done with high school for more than 4 years? You know, I know that's hard as hell. I know it's hard as hell, man. And if you just stick with it and you just follow the program and you take everything that these teachers are telling you and you work on them. My philosophy was class didn't end for me when I left here. Class actually started for me when I left here. Because if you just take this stuff and you go home and you play Call of Duty, you watch TV, you watch UFC, you do whatever, you spend time with your kids, that's fine and dandy. You need to do those things and stay sane. But you have to make time. This is going to be your profession. This is the time to try to perfect it. Because when you go into these interviews, you gave them a resume. You gave them a resume. It has your GPA. It has your attendance on it. They already know what you're capable of. You have a degree. That's not why you actually made that interview. You know, that is the main reason why you made that interview, but that is not the main reason you're getting ready to get hired for that job. It's all what they perceive you to be. You know, how you're dressing when you come in here, how you're talking, how you're treating people, how you're communicating with people. All these things. When I tell you, I can talk Ebonics like the rest of them out there. You know, I go downtown, I can go to Malarkey's, I can hang out with that crowd, and I can fit in just fine. But I can also go into a business meeting, and I can talk with this crowd just fine. Being personable is what it really is about, and having the skill set to actually make it. You know, we've had people fired from my company because they didn't know how to read a voltmeter. They did not know how to do a continuity check on a piece of equipment. When they're training you, that is why you got the job, because you're supposed to already have this knowledge. So when I'm saying, what I've seen, and what I'm saying is, if you don't understand this stuff, all you have to do is ask. I think I sat in the office maybe 3 hours a day shooting the breeze with Larry and asking questions that I should have already known, you know. And he never once said, Javon, you should already know this. You know, you passed this test. He sat there and he took the time to help me. If you don't understand this stuff, when you walk out of here, you're not doing yourself a favor. You got the degree, but it is not going to get you a job. I'm telling you that right now. You're not going to get a job based off of having that degree. You're going to do okay, and you're going to succeed to whatever expectations you want to have. But if your expectation is not to make $16 an hour and not make $19 an hour and actually like do something other than just the standard, I go to work every day, you got to do more for yourself while you're here. You got to get self-motivated. I'm not saying anybody in this room isn't self-motivated. I don't know you from G.I. Joe, okay? But what I'm saying is if I'm going to keep saying it. If you don't understand this stuff and you're passing these tests because you're studying, you're not doing yourself a favor. Please ask these guys 1,000 questions. I think any teacher that had me here can attest to how many stupid questions I stopped the class to ask. I asked so many dang questions, ridiculous, and but I had to understand it, and it has helped in the long run. Okay, but back to what I do. I travel an awful lot. And it's so surprising to me that I don't use electronics but a quarter of the time that I'm in the field. It's all business. It's all perception. It's all what I can do for the dealer. You know, I should have got a business degree with this job, to be honest with you. And that's what I'm saying. You came to school for electronics, and it's going to take you far because you have the expertise when you're in the field. These people look. You know how like cool it is to go into a shop that they have what you call an automatic buffer. Okay, what a buffer does is it buffs the tread off of a tire so that you can apply new tread to the tire at a later station. Well, if their buffer is down, they can't do any more production for the whole day. They're losing a butt ton of money. It's like $600 for a new tire. Retreads are like $300 or something like that. Okay, so $300 they can do about 60 tires an hour. If you take $300 times 60, tires that they can do in that 1 hour, that's how much production, that's how much money they make. If they're down for 15 minutes, they lost a ton of money. So when they call me and say, hey, can you come in? Can you work on my equipment? You know how satisfying it is. I take videos for Isaiah all the time and I send it to him. I'm like, hey, man, this is a big piece of equipment. I'm getting ready to troubleshoot it. I always have my camera. I'm getting ready to troubleshoot this. And it's the same stuff that I did on those trainers here every day. To the component, trying to find the source, trying to find what's the problem in the circuit. And when you fix it, and then you leave, and these guys are giving you praise among praise among praise among praise. They want to take you out to dinner. They want to take you to Bobcats games. They want to take you to Panthers games. You know, they want to do this stuff because you got their production up and running. It's the best feeling in the world. And there's so much opportunity for you guys when you guys finish here.
You got to cut you off about there, but tell them whose neighborhood you live in now.
Actually, Cam Newton is, lives 3 houses down from me. He's a quarterback for the Panthers. It's cool, man. Again, I want to share some numbers with you guys because I was making $8 an hour to maybe $10 an hour the whole time before I was here at Hamilton and while I was here at Hamilton. And afterwards, started at 52. A couple months later, I'm at 72. And Bridgestone does profit sharing. So just this past, 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks ago, everybody got a bonus that happens yearly. I wasn't aware of the bonus. Everybody got a bonus of anywhere between 45 and 55% of the salary, which means I'll make well over $100,000 this year on my first year of the job. So there is major money to be made, but you have to do it for yourself. You gotta take the steps to do it. And I'm living testament that I came to Little Hamilton Technical College in Davenport, Iowa. I have an electronics degree, and I don't have a big engineering degree, but I made $100,000 this year, or I will make $100,000 this year. And I was only here 2 years ago. my buddy Isaiah, is here right now. I gave him one of my paychecks and said, look at this. And that was his motivation. And I promise you, if you want to see my paychecks, you think I'm lying, I'll bring a paycheck in. I'll bring a paycheck in. It is well worth it. And if you ever need me, I'll leave my number. You can call me at any time of the night. And I will talk you through any problem you have that I can help you with outside of school. That's how much I want to get back to the school. So I appreciate the time. I didn't mean to ramble. You know, I didn't want to come in and give a presentation. I just wanted to be real with you guys. So if you have any questions for me, please get my number from Isaiah. Please get my number from Larry, and just give me a call. And we can talk whatever you want to. I know I didn't get to talk on a whole bunch of stuff, and I know I didn't necessarily tell you exactly what it is I did, but I'm a product of Hamilton, and Hamilton's done right by me. So I wish you all the best of luck, and I hope you are all successful in your endeavors. And just remember, it's all perception. It's all perception.